It has been a while since I went live doing some artwork, and I need to rectify that situation. This is Brad Scott, and this is my art. Um, and today I am going to be working on some sketch cards for Captain America Brave New World. So I've got two Captain Americas, I've got two Hulks, and I'm going to work on those tonight. And then afterwards I'll get them up for auction. So I went and saw the movie. I'm probably going to talk about it. So if you haven't seen it and don't want spoilers, you know, beware of that. But other than that, I thought it was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I am not a Marvel fanboy. I'm a DC fanboy. So I understand that some people are like they weren't happy with the movie because of different aspects of the comics. I'm not familiar with those. So for me, I was just looking at it from a different set of eyes, just as a comic book fan. And I thought it was an excellent movie. Uh, so I've got some sketches that I put together and got those down. And I'm going to color these with my Ohuhu markers. So I've got my color swatches here. And that's what I'm going to use to do the coloring. I'm going to start off with Hulk. I've really been digging this one here. So I'm going to start off with this one and take it from there. Let's see, we're starting at about 8:40. I do not have the markers together yet, nor do I have my normal pad that I tape these down on to, actually I do. Hold on a second. I do have my pad. It's a little dusty. Hold on just a second. Let me clean it up a little bit. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody is staying warm. The weather has been pretty funky as far as cold lately, and it won't warm up and stay warm. I'm down here in Florida, and we've got another cold spurt coming, which sucks. I do not like. I do not like. So what I usually try to do is tape this down, and then I can move the board around without touching the artwork. So just a couple of pieces of tape on the back will hold that together, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I'm trying to debate on whether or not I'm going to do line work or just paint it look. If you look at some of my work in the shop, you'll see two different methods of coloring. On some of them I do the line work, on some of them I don't. And on this one, I'm kind of thinking I don't want to show the line work. I just want to show the colors. But, well, you know what? That's what I'm going for. There's not a lot of super detail in this drawing, so I don't need to really save the line work. So I'm going to have to knock this down a little bit. Not too much where I can't see it, but I am going to knock it back. So instead of just erasing it all the way, I take my kneaded eraser and I just roll over it a couple of times to pick up the graphite, but I can still see it. And I can only do this right after, if I use this method, I have to do it right after I draw it. Because if I was to do this and then come back a couple of days later or a week later, my memory, I'd be like, I can't even remember what I had there without the sketch. And so the sketch really helps me. Since I just sketched it maybe about an hour ago, it's still fresh in my mind, kind of what I wanted it to look like. But if I left it like this, yeah, I'd be up a creek. So uh, I like to knock it back a little bit, and I put it on this so I can move it around without actually touching it, and I can paint all the way around it. Uh, and I say paint, I should say color, really. The cool thing is I took the time to color swatch out my Ohuhu marker set, which I haven't always done, but I did. So that'll help me pick colors a little bit faster. Uh, Welcome, Four Leaf. How you doing? We're doing some Captain America and Red Hulk sketches tonight. I got the sketch done. I'm just going to do some coloring with our Ohuhu markers and just talking about that a little bit. I'm going to start with a really nice deep purple for those areas that I know are going to be deep in shadow. Um, so I have my purple card here, but I also have my reds. So I could use like an old red, but that's really not dark enough. I could go with peony, which is nice and dark, or I could just go straight like dark purple gray. Um, so how you doing tonight, Four Leaf? I've also got the deep violet. I want to go even darker than that though. I don't want to go black. If I go black, then I might as well just pull out the pen and ink and do the line work. But I'm trying to stay away from that. So the other thing I try to do is I keep my color wheel handy, and I need to dust. Dust is collecting so fast around here. I keep my color wheel handy, so I'm going to be doing this mainly in the red, oranges, right? So I want to keep my shadows on the cool side and my highlights on the warm side. So coming in here to a deep blue violet is going to look good on the shadows. So because of that, I don't think I want to go with the purple. I don't want to go with the reds. I want to go straight into the purples. And I'm going to go with, oh, I like that aubergine. That's a nice deep one right there. Let's go with that. That's a P5. Now, the other thing that I have not done is I have not organized my markers. Let me show you what I'm dealing with here. So I have all my colors, but I haven't organized them at all. I have them by basic class, like greens, yellows, grays, blacks, reds, violets, and blues. But like, oh, look at that, P5 right there. I didn't think I would find it that quick. If I really took the time to organize them like my cards, it would make finding things a whole lot quicker, a whole lot easier. But I haven't done that, so no sense talking about it. And I like the Ohuhus because you get a nice brush tip as well as the chisel tip. And I do use the chisel tip. A lot of people don't like it. I actually do. Um, Now I'm going to use the brush tip for this. The other thing is bleed and blending. So if I did the ink work with lines, I wouldn't have, I'd have a nice separation between areas, but it wouldn't blend as smoothly as I wanted. Because this is a lot of flesh, I'm going to play with a lot of different colors in here. And so that's why I really don't want to use the line work. But when I get into some of these areas, I don't want it to necessarily bleed over. So we're going to see how that goes too. I am going to start off with a very odd area, the nose. I'm just going to come in here like that. Boom. And I like that color. I like that color. I think it looks good. Um, so let's get started. If you haven't seen Brave New World, I would recommend it. I think it was a very good movie. Um, at first, I was gonna wait to see it, and then I decided, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and see, I did lose some of the areas that I really wanted to See, that's the hard part with this technique is after I erase those lines. Actually, I just thought about this. What I should probably do before I completely erase the lines is I should come in with my deep shadows and then erase, because the shadows will kind of tell me uh, where I need to be. And so after I erase the lines, I'll still have a good guide. I'm going to try that on the next piece, or on another piece. Maybe not the next one, but on another one, I'll say. I have to be a little bit careful where I decide to put this really dark purple, because it is pretty strong, but it's going to help me lay the groundwork for the rest of the piece. And it's not black, so it should really set up pretty nicely against some of the other areas. Can't guarantee that's what's going to happen, but that's the goal. And so far, I'm kind of happy with how it's turning out. Up in here, there's going to be a lot of transition from this neck shadow up into the face. So I'm really going to have to take my time, put together a good game plan, and stage it pretty nicely. So some of the complaints I heard about the movie were from uh, big fans of Red Hulk. I didn't even know, I knew there was a Red Hulk, but I really didn't know Red Hulk's story until maybe a couple of years ago. We started talking about it in the comic shop because there was a couple of people there who were Red Hulk fans. But I'll also admit that even with that, I'm not a expert on Red Hulk. So from what I understand, the storyline that they went with was pretty true. But that's one thing I also like about Marvel. Marvel doesn't stray too far from the comics, and I think that's been part of their success. Is maintaining some semblance of the comics and not getting too far ahead of themselves. I really want that crease to be deep purple, but I'm not sure how it would come out. Um, Contact 630. Hey, how's it going? We're doing some Red Hulk and Captain America sketch cards tonight. Hope you're doing good. Hope everybody's fine. But I did enjoy the movie. I it made me want to learn more about Red Hulk for sure. Um, so they'll probably generate some post sales money for me on the comic side, because I thought it was a little bit interesting as I got more into the story, which I've never done before for Red Hulk. I just kind of knew he existed, and I didn't worry about it too much. And being a DC fanboy, You know, it. I always thought it was interesting, but at the same time, I was like, why are there so many different Hulks? That's where they kind of lost me. Is because they had so many different Hulks. I just never knew where to dive in to get into the Hulk stories. Fire Serpent, hey, how's it going? And so I all right. I think that's do I really want I do kind of want that crease. I do want that crease. So let me get a little bit more on this side here. And I'm gonna do a little bit. I do want that crease. And I think instead of using black for the eyes, I think I'm going to go ahead and use this same color for the eye. And just that right there, that that gives a nice little it automatically starts building the piece together and putting it in perspective. So the colors I'm going to use again are mainly my reds, actually just the reds, but I am going to do gray for the hair. Grays, I'm going to stay away from black. I'm going to use just a lighter gray and darker gray for the hair. So let's shoot over to the grays. And I don't know if there is. Do I have a red gray? I've got green gray. If I go with a warm gray, that's a greener. I do have a red gray. I've got a couple of red grays. Okay, that's cool. That's going to work. I think the mid tone right there for that RG50, if I can find it real quick, I think that's going to work out really nice. Um, Although, is it just an RG50? It is. And I have it in the right place. I have it in the reds, which I'm surprised because very rarely do I have my markers in the right place. And it's a new color, so I'm going to try it out over here a little bit first. Okay, it's kind of cool. I can dig it. Put some hair over here, maybe around the ear here. He's got that salt and pepper look. Thaddeus Ross. I honestly, until the movie came out, I didn't even know Thaddeus Ross was Red Hulk. As much as my friends talked about him, it never even occurred to me that Thaddeus Ross was Red Hulk. Knowing that, I was like, wait a minute, what the what? And that made the storyline more interesting to me as well. So that's why I'm thinking I may go ahead and just start diving into the comics a little bit. I can dig it, and maybe even some salt and pepper along the where the light's hitting it. That's really starting to take shape. I like it. I can dig it. Ray Gun, what's happening? I haven't seen you in a while. So now I'm going to start to build up, but I want to make sure I hit my lights first because I'll mess up and forget. So I want to get something down. So now I'm going to shoot over to my red card and I'm going to start. I don't want to get too far into the pinks, but I don't think there's any way I can get the highlights without, just going straight pink. But I'm going to try to stay away from the pinks that are too pink. I've got some photo reference that I'm using, and maybe I do need to go straight pink first. I can always go darker, but I can't go lighter. Uh, if I want to go darker over something, I can always go darker, but I can't go lighter, so I have to be a little bit careful starting out. Um, and in theory, I should pick my mid-tone first, but I don't want to mess up my highlights. And I want the other thing too that I know some people, some people don't, is I am colorblind. So when I pick colors, it's usually a little bit different than what somebody else would pick. Uh, See, I like the pastel rose, but it might not be light enough. And I don't want to have to go back over it with white. So I might go with thistle, but that's a little bit too gray. I don't want to do that. Oh, this one's a hard one. This one's a hard one because I might just have to go tender pink. Tender pink is the winner. Tender pink it is. That's probably too light, but until I get the other colors next to it, I won't be able to tell, um, because it's going to look different when it's next to other colors as opposed to just sitting out there on the white by itself. And I can't find it. What number am I looking for? What did I say? Tender pink, RB 300. It seems like it should stand out, but it's not. So give me just a minute to find it here. Another reason why I really need to organize my markers, because I can't just zoom in on the color. I have to actually read the tops, and that can take 330, 320, 300. It can take a little bit more time because I have to actually read the tops. And actually, when I buy markers, when people ask me to test out markers, the first thing I ask is, are they marked? Are they labeled? Because if they're not labeled, I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Wow, that does not look right. So let me get, I don't know. I know the color's right, but all right. So this whole side of the head, see, oh man, I lost it. There's a vein around here. See that's thistle pink or tender pink. Is that right? Man, that does not look right. Hold on just a second. I need a test card. Just a moment. Let me get a test card because, well, you know what? That's fine. I've got the swatch. Maybe it just dries a little bit differently. Maybe I just haven't used it enough. And so we're going to go with it. It is drying differently. Wow. It looks like it's going, to me, it looks like it's going down orange and then drying pink. That's just bananas. And as you can see, it blends a little bit. That's what I like about alcohol markers. They do blend. Yeah, to me, this looks like it's really going down in orange and then it's drying pink. That's just crazy. And I am putting these markers to the side so I can use the same colors on the other sketch card because I don't want to do this again. I don't want to be looking for the same colors. Wow, it feels like it's changing right in front of my eyes, which I guess it is. Unless there's just not enough pigment. I haven't used this marker in a while, so maybe there's just not enough ink and pigment on the tip. And as I use it, it's getting better. All right. So this is the side the light is hitting. I'm gonna have a couple of highlights in this area over here on the back of the neck. And again, I can go over that. I can always go darker. I can't go lighter. We're gonna put a little bit over the nose, right in that crease right there. And then a little streak there, a little over the hump right there. Give me a little highlight right there. That's looking pretty good. I think, do I want to, yeah, a little bit under this bottom lip, maybe. If I don't like it, I can go darker. But once I go dark, I can't go back light without covering up with like just a straight white or something. So trying to be judicious with where I put it. Also, I'm trying not to bleed into the black too much. So I think that's it. I think that's, I guess there'd be some highlights on the ear, although I don't want to draw too much attention to the ear. It's an ear. So where I don't want attention, I I just try to keep things sparingly. But at the same time, all right, I like that. That's cool. All right, now I'll go with the primary color, the red that I want to use, and I'll hit most of the rest of this with something like a coral pink or vermilion. Vermilion would be nice. I can still go darker from there, but not too much. It's kind of the jump from strawberry pink, excuse me, from vermilion to here. Vermilion looks more like an in between than a primary color. So primary, I think I want a little bit. That coral pink looks about right, but it's too pink. I need something. I think deep red is too red. Coral red is a little bit lighter than the vermilion. I'm gonna go coral red next. And I'll try it on an area that I'll try it up in the forehead first. I think that's a good color. I think I still need to go a little bit lighter. I need something in between this and the pink. I think that's what I'm eventually wind up going with. But I can do a lot of the in between work with this. I don't want to get too colorful, and then it just kind of starts to look weird. And I forgot to do the eyebrow right there. So make sure I save. A little bit for that. I think this will look good under the nose. I like doing sketches like this without the uh, the line work, but it does take a little bit more planning on my part. Not that that's a problem. It's not a problem at all. How's that look? It's looking pretty good. The white really does. So when I paint, when I use my watercolors, it's a little bit different because I cover up the white completely from the beginning. And so I don't have to deal with that contrast of the white. Because when white, if this is going to be my lightest light, the white is just messing me up. You know what I mean? It's throwing everything off. And it's not the best position to be in. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh well, I did it. See, I wanted a little light along the upper lip, and I forgot to put it there, and so now I can't do it. I can take a blender, my colorless blender, and lighten that up a little bit, which may be what I have to do. Uh, but that's about all I'll be able to do now because I lost paying attention. And I also think I need a darker color for that. I can probably use this inside the ear because it's dark enough for that. The further I get along on this, the easier it becomes because I kind of see things starting to take shape. But this in between step is just a little hard. Now, if I really need to, I can break out the gouache and I can go over any part of this that I want to. It's not the plan, but I love working in mixed media, so it wouldn't hurt my feelings to do it. Um, but it's just not the plan right now. If I'm using, but the workflow would be fine. So when I'm using the mixed media, I usually do a wash over the paper in the wash, and I water it down pretty heavy, and then I'll do a uh, I'll use the Ohuhu markers, and then I'll use gouache on top of that. I'll come back with Ohuhu, and then if there's some really fine detail that I want to capture, then I'll pull out the colored pencils and finish it up that way. I wonder if I can. So the workflow would work out fine. But my goal is usually to cover up the white as quick as possible because it throws me off. All right, I need something between I guess there's a few other areas I could use around. But I need something. I think that going from here to here is just too much. So I think I need something in between. I need something in between this color and the pink, and this color and the purple. So if that's the R3 and we were using the pink, so we had the coral red and the tender pink, probably the coral pink is what I want as that in between. So let's try the R1. Oh, well, I'm doing pretty good finding my markers tonight. And I'm going to test this one a little bit under here. Yeah, okay, I like it. I like it. I like it. Yep, I think that's a good transition. So now I can just get in here and start painting it up. And I can get rid of most of that white now and really get into. See, when I kill that white, the rest of the colors really start to ring true. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. The other thing I forgot to do was to highlight the veins in the head. So I'm going to have to play a little game on the veins on the forehead. How's it looking on camera? It's looking pretty good. Campbell 59, how's it going? Now I want to get this eyeball. I can come up under like that, and I still have space to go darker. And I can blend this in a little bit as I'm going to make that transition a little bit smoother. That's the best part about alcohol markers, is the blending. And I like painting with gouache. Crazy thing is, gouache does not blend. To get nice gradients with the gouache, I have to do washes. And learning how to do the washes took me a little bit. Because it's not very intuitive on how to do it. So I used to do a lot of watercolor painting, and you when you want gradients with that, you have to get it wet. You have to do it while it's wet and let the water take care of itself. But when you do that, you're not going to get a very opaque color. Um, you can, but then it doesn't always look great doing that. So it's a little dance to get that right as well. And finish up the neck. And the shoulder. Now in this one, I'll flip it over, and this is where that broad tip coming in. Just covers up a lot of area really quick, and I can use it to blend down. Boom. All right, I can dig it. I can dig it. It's looking good. It's looking good. And now I can Hola Fisher Comics. I can hit a darker gray for the hair. The eyes are going to be kind of a fiery red. So I can actually use, I really want, I want it to be bright. I wonder if I have a, I need to get into the R100s. There we go. I want something like in the neon range up in here. So I'm going to go with that 14. And make it really pop. All right. And then I'm going to go with a darker gray for the hair. I'm not going to go black. I'm going to stay away from black, I think. And just go with what did I go with for the other part of the hair? I went with a red gray. So I think I'm going to go with a blue gray for the hair. Let's see how that looks. I like it. I think that's cool. Now I got to kill that background with something. These brush tips are nice. Ohuhu makes good brush tips. Promo plug for Ohuhu markers. They are not a sponsor, but if they see this, hey, sponsor me. I use your markers. I love your markers. The vibrancy of the colors is what I love about the Ohuhu brand. Um, I know a lot of people swear by the Copics, and Copics are cool. They're nice. I use Copics for my multi-liners. But coloring wise, I think the Ohuhus just bring a vibrancy better than the Copics. And I'm going to get some salt and pepper in there. And I saved a little highlight on that side of the face for, actually I need to, before I do that, and go back with my 300 and get some, try to get some blending. Try to get some better gradients in there. Hopefully I didn't wait too long. So on the other hawk, I'm going to do more line work and see how it goes. We'll see where the feeling goes. Try a slow dance. Oh, and the teeth and the eyes. One with a really large gray or a really light gray, really cool gray just to kill the white again. Um, because the white will stand out. And then on the side, I want that highlight of, what did we use? I think we used the coral pink is what that was. Coral red. All right. Now I got to kill this back there with something. While I'm thinking about that, again, thanks everybody for hopping on. Actually, I'm going to go with the green. I'm going to push that back with the green and a really light green, maybe even a yellowish green. Let me see. Although yellow will kind of, ooh, that might be too. I might need to go with a straight. Yeah, I don't think I want to go with the yellowish green because I think it'll clash with my pinks. So I'm going to go with just a really light green. I always forget to do that. And so this one took about an hour to color. Wow, I'm getting slow. Or am I just running my mouth too much? Or is it because I didn't have my colors ready and that's why? And I just want to kill. I just want to kill that white. In the background, I have Eddie Murphy, 48 Hours playing. I just finished watching 48 Hours, and now I'm watching another 48 Hours. Um, I usually have a podcast or TV in the background with something. If it's TV, then it's something I've seen a bunch of times, so I don't have to look at it to kind of see what's going on. But just for some white noise, and then if it's a podcast, then I'll turn it up and just kind of get into autopilot where I can listen and draw or paint at the same time. When I'm doing my original sketches, it's usually pretty quiet. But once I get the sketch down, see that white just, it was too dominating. It was too dominating. So just get rid of that and everything just kind of starts to come to life after that. All right. And now to finish it up, uh, I need that color. How's that looking? That's looking pretty cool. There's a lot I need to do to this though. And to start off with, I need to find a way to separate the teeth because they don't look great right now. So I'm going to go with a neutral gray. And just kind of add some separation to the teeth. Again, I don't want it to dominate anything. But I don't want it to look like he has, you know, it's Hulk. His teeth kind of the separation of his teeth is kind of a thing. Yeah, I like that. And actually, I can come in here with a really light touch and just give me a little lip right there. And then I can just put a little bit more on the eyes right there. All right, I dig it. And I forgot where I used this blue gray. And there's Hulk. Red Hulk. I do need to find my in between again. I think it was this one. And see if I can put the veins back. No, that's not it. What is this color? This is my highlighter. So I can come in here and dial back a little bit on the ears. I might have to oh man. All right, I need something. I need another in between. So that's good the way it is. However, I think I can add some more detail if I get the right color without going black. I need something. I've got to add some character. So I need a red. This may be where I need to bring in the vermilion. This may be it if I haven't used it all up. Because I use vermilion so much. A lot of times I need to get more of these because a lot of times they just run so. See, that's a nice in-between color right there. It's damn near perfect. And I can add some character to the face. And I forgot the eyelashes again. I need to put the eyelashes on there. So this is a nice in-between color. I can get some shadows. It looks good. I can get some whips in there from the eyes. I can bring it down and really get in there. I do need to come in and darken those eyes up some more after I get the eyebrows in. Separate the ear a little bit more, the shoulder a little bit more, a little bit softer now. Under the lip. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. That's looking a lot better. And I can even come give that lip that I was trying to get earlier. Separate some on this side. Maybe a few more veins in the head. Alright, and maybe, yeah, this is coming out nice now. This I'm digging. Take a minute to say thank you to everybody that stopped in. I'm definitely doing one more card. And then maybe call it a night. I don't know. All right, I like that. I dig it. And now that I've done that, where's my hair? And now I'm going to go back with my deep. And I want to really emphasize that eye. I think it's not. I really want that eye to be a focal point. And a lot of times when I do Hulk, I almost black out that whole section around the eye. And so you can't help but focus on it. But here I do want to allow a little bit of the imagination. But I like that. I can always go darker, I can't go lighter. But I do like that. I think that came out pretty good. No line work. Red Hulk. I can dig it. All right, I'm going to let that marinate. And I'm going to move on to another one. While I'm doing that, I'll put that one up top. So if anybody's interested, they can see it. As I knock stuff around. And the next one up, I don't know, should I do the next Hulk since I got those out and save Captain America? I'm thinking that's a good call. And on this one, I am going to use line work because there's a lot more going on this one. And there's a lot more that I want to capture. So the question is, how much is that doggy in the window? How much is that doggy in the window? Here's the thing with ink and markers. The markers will smear the ink unless I give it a long time to dry. And once I put the markers down, I can't erase the pencils. So it's a balance between lifting up the graphite, getting some primary color down on the markers, and then coming in with the inks and then finishing up with the markers. So a little bit more of a harder process, but done right, it looks better. Done wrong, it just looks screwed up. So first I have to lighten this down. Because once I put the marker down, I can't get this up. All right. Now the best way to do this would be to use one of my fine liners and do it first and then come back. I don't like drawing it twice. I don't like drawing it. Well, I'm already drawing it twice. I don't want to draw it 3 times. So drew it with the pencils. I'm going to draw it again with the ink, but I don't want to draw it with the ink marker and then back to ink. Although that gives the best result. And if this was one of the full 9x12s, that's probably the process I would use for a small 4x6 sketch card. Not really the process I want to use. The process I want to use is to get a base color down, come in with my inks, do the highlights. So I'm going to work in reverse almost. I'm going to start off with my green. Did I save it? I don't know. Did I save my green? It was a RV300. For my background, I'm gonna go backwards. So last time I did the background last. This time I'm going to do the background first. And there's my colors. Those are the colors that I'm going to use. It's the same colors I used on the one above. I'm going to use them for this one. So now that I've got them picked out, hopefully things go a little bit faster on this one. So the first one took about an hour. This one should go a little bit faster since I have the colors out. And we're going to do a time hack at about 9:50, 9:48 to be exact, but 9:50 for simplicity's sake. And oh, wait a minute. No. That's not what I wanted. That's not the gray. Oh, shoot. What was the green that I used? I was about to do the wrong thing. What did I use as the green background? I put that one up. All right, I didn't mean to put that one up. Let me pull that back out. So I am going to be starting around 9:50. All right, there we go. This is what I wanted. So as I do this, I don't want to go too dark because I am going to use my inks. So if I go dark, I'll lose the inks. But I'm using a light background to push back the background since I'm not doing a detailed background. Just get this down. And the main reason again is because the inks will smear. So that pushes it back, gets it out of the way, and then I want to use the lightest colors for the Hulk just to get it gets the pencils locked down, and then when I come in with the ink, it won't be as big a deal. So for the hair, I'm going with a really light gray. And that's not the light gray. Is it? Oh, maybe. No, it's not the gray I had, I don't think. Maybe I went even lighter. Again, just to get rid of the white paper. I don't like having the white paper while I'm trying to do stuff. And I might as well do the eyes while I'm at it. And the teeth. And since I'm inking, I don't mind going back over this with some really deep white highlights at the end. I need to grab another movie real quick. This one just finished up. No, I don't want to watch that. That'll have me crying. I put in Black Hawk Down, and that's not a good one. All right, throwing some blood sport. And then I come in with my very light, my lightest red, and get that down, which that was my RB300. That was my tender pink. And this just gives me something to work with. So, and I'm not even sure this is the right process to be using. If this was a full mixed media picture, which I normally do on like the 9x12, this would be a watercolor wash over the whole picture. It locks down the graphite, and then I can come in over it with the inks. Nothing's going to smear. That's the other thing about using the gouache first, is it holds the ink a lot better as well than just sitting on top of the white paper. This is crazy because I put this color, it goes down orange 100%. It goes down looking orange, and then it dries pink. It's freaking me out. It's crazy. And on this one, I'm probably going to go with some really deep black areas to make them pop. And I'll probably, on this one, do the eyes in that dark black fashion where you just see kind of like the eyeball surrounded by that black menacing rage. Another public service announcement. Thank everybody for stopping by. I appreciate it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate it. If you're watching this on Whatnot, I appreciate it. All right. Now I've got a good base, all the whites covered up, and I can come in with my brush pen. I love using my brush pen. On a commission 9x12 full picture, I would come in starting out with like my 0.1, and I would get my landmarks in. And then I would do a heavy erase and then kind of build up back and forth going between different things. Sketch cards, 4x6, a little bit different process, a little bit quicker process. So don't hate me. But now I've got something to really, work off of without it. Because if I tried to do this before, I mean, it would just be smearing all over the place. It really would. And the reason I like the brush pen is because it's a way to quickly get thick to thin lines and cover a lot of area. the hardest part for me is just taking my time, trying to work different line weights, not getting impatient, and then varying the weight as I go, giving it some character. It's the whole point. I also like it because since I enjoy painting, basically I'm just painting with ink, and I just enjoy this a lot. Is my big head in the way? My big head is not in the way. And then when I want some larger areas, I can just spooyah and just cover down, get those large areas done. The sketch card paper is vellum, uh, vellum finish. I think it's 300 series. Sometimes I use the smooth for some of the larger drawings. I never use the smooth for the sketch cards. It's always the vellum surface. So look at that. I was able to do all that without changing utensils. That's what I really love about that brush pen. And it gives it that comic style using the brush pen. And like I said, on this one, I'm probably going to, not probably, I am. I'm going to go with these deep blacks around the eyes. Being able to vary the line weight so fast with the brush pen, it's really satisfying. And then the question's always like, do I give Hulk the chiclet teeth? Because a lot of times I do. I give him the chiclet teeth, and it's it's cool at the moment I do it, but then after I do it, I go, why did I give him chiclet teeth? Now, if I'm doing Joker, usually the Joker gets the chiclets. You know, it just makes him look more menacing. He's a psycho anyway. Hulk, I really don't want you to focus on his teeth. So I don't spend a lot of time on that. I'll give some indications, but I won't do chiclets. And the chiclet is when I do each tooth individually. But I think you all understood that was where I was going with it. The other thing about the ink is you can, use the white to kind of cover it up if you make a mistake. It normally doesn't look great when you do that. If I'm doing it for a comic book, it's no big deal because it's going to be digital in the end anyway. But for an original, personal opinion is I don't think people really want to see corrections on their drawing. Although if it's done right, it doesn't look like a correction. But it's one of those things that even if they don't know, I might know. And in my heart, I'm like, ugh, I know that's correction. The other part about this particular one is we know it's Harrison Ford, right? So making it look good without necessarily trying to make it seem like I'm drawing Harrison Ford, because that's really not the intent. But giving it the character that Harrison Ford brought to the screen, so that somebody sees it, they go, that's the Harrison Ford Hulk. Because that people will be able to tell just from the character in the face. Although knowing it's Thaddeus Ross, and probably based on the movie, you could infer that, yeah, everybody knows it's Harrison Ford, Thaddeus Ross Hulk. See, that line work really pops out, gives it that comic book flair, which is cool. I don't think I'm going to get to the Captain Americas tonight, which is fine. I thought I would, but I'm not. And see, this is another reason why I like the vellum surface. Sometimes I can just get natural gradient just by letting the ink do what it wants to do on the paper. And I like that. I dig that. And then the last piece is the parts I want to emphasize with color versus the parts I want to emphasize with the ink. Because some of this, now if I was doing flat colors, if I wasn't going to try to do some type of gradient, then I would probably just focus on a different aspect of it just a little bit. That's already starting to look good. Now I'm going to black out these eyes and really go for the menacing. Going to do another public service announcement here. Thank you all for stopping by, spending some of your time with me. I really do appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed that you could be doing something else, whether you're watching it live or the replay. It is highly appreciated that you spend any time with me and my artwork. Highly appreciated. I don't even know if I have the right words to tell you how much I appreciate it. So this is the way I normally do Hulk, with just these blacked out eyeballs, because he has that Cro-Magnon head that just seems to put his eyes in permanent shadow. Makes him a little bit more menacing, just thinking about it. So now this just looks like an angry dude, right? It doesn't even look like Red Hulk right now. Give him some salt and pepper. A little fade. All right. I think he can use a little bit more eyebrow up here. Because this eyebrow, I'm kind of blending into the shadow more. And now I'll come back with the color. So I've got everything the way I kind of want it right now. And now I can come back with some of that primary red color that I want. And I think it was the coral red, if I'm not mistaken. A coral pink. We shall see. We shall see. So this is definitely more comic book style than the previous one, which is more of a painted style. But now there's less, doing it this way, there's less chance of me messing up the inks, which is what I really wanted to avoid. Because if I don't wait long enough and the ink still wet, then I just really messed up a lot of stuff. Then when I finish, I'll probably take my 0.1 and maybe add some more character to it as well. And this one, I want to kind of keep the middle of the face and then letting the light hit it from the edges. Which, if I had thought about it before, I could have laid that out prior to, but I didn't. I just thought about it just now. But just by skipping areas now, I can have that highlight that I wanted. And not have to deal with the white paper. And so I can see a little bit better what it is I'm working with and what I'm going for. And this time I'll make sure to remember to leave an area for the lip. And I don't know if I should add some darker tones to it or not, because the black really captures those areas that I want it to. And excuse me for the silence. I'm just kind of trying to think my way through the lighting here. Oh yeah, I'm digging that. I'm digging that. I didn't do any veins, which is almost like sacrilege, right? Like, come on, man, you got to do some veins. It's the Hulk, but I didn't, and it's a little bit too late now. I think that's looking good. I've got some good highlights. Maybe that's a little bit too much over here. Bring that down. Oh yeah, I'm digging that. I am digging that. I do want to, let me see. I think I do want to throw in some deeper shadows. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to go for it. Instead of going back to inks, I'm going to use that deep right there and see if I can just add a few touches of oh damnness. Public service announcement again. Thank you all for taking some time to check me out. I appreciate it. Would I do this without the views? I would. Do I appreciate the views? You're dang gone right I do. It's very inspiring to know that there's people out there who appreciate the art. So I never want to take that for granted. I always appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And hopefully you enjoy the show. Hopefully you enjoy seeing some of the art being created. And, the process that I go through to get this stuff done. It is a labor of love, but it is work. You know, I I'm not one of those people who go like, oh, it's not work. It is. This part is fun, but like when I'm putting out a book, a game, a comic book, when I have deadlines to meet, it's a job. It's like any other regular job. You got stuff you have to do, deadlines you have to meet, those creative decisions that you have to make in lieu of what you really want to do. You got to get it out. You got to get the product out. And so when I'm able to just take some time and do things like this, appreciate that big time. Okay. Where we at? Okay, so about an hour piece. I'll spend another few minutes on this one. Completely forgot this shoulder over here, so I'll just crank it out with that. And tonight we're gonna do it because the boys are back in town. Yeah. And when the boys are back, there ain't no fooling around. And I hope I left out the hot pink for the eyes. Now on this one I am going to add some of my I'll add some of the white, which I didn't necessarily do on the other one. All right. And then I will take my smaller one and I'll just try to add, a little bit of character for areas that I might see. And this is, now I don't have to worry about how hard I press because it's not a brush. Just add some light touches here and there. maybe to find a few teeth down here at the bottom. All right, I think that's good. Now what'll happen is I will set these aside. I'll leave them on my table. Tomorrow I'll be like looking at them. I'll wake up, I'll look at them with fresh eyes, and I'll be like, oh man, I could tweak that a little bit more and make it kind of cool. Actually, one of the things I can do is, because I didn't do it before, I can come in here and put in some veins, because Hulk without veins is just not right. So I can come in and do that. Hulk is vascular. Yeah, I think it always is better to have Hulk with a little vascularity. Doesn't even have to be a bunch, but it's the Hulk. Just a little bit. Actually, what I can do is I can come back. Oh, see, now I'm already starting to look at it with fresh eyes. And I can just go over it a little bit with the white, and it'll blend in and just it'll give it just that highlighted look. Maybe even throw some on the nose. Right above the eye. Right along the side of the face. Along the lip. Little chin. I don't know how it shows up on camera, but it looks really good here. So that's a good 2-hour session. Uh, one sketch card, completely painted, no line work, and then one with the line work. I think they both came out great. Um, Again, if you haven't had a chance to see it, I highly recommend. Where's my Vermilion? I highly recommend it. It's a really good movie. Um, I think they did a great job. I don't know the whole story of Thaddeus Ross and Red Hawk, but I will say the movie, I was very happy. I was very satisfied. Um, I can't be as hard on it as probably someone who's a big fan. It's like if there's Batman or something DC, I can be a little bit more harsh on it because that's kind of where my fanboyism is. But on something like this, I don't know. I can only go with the movie because I have not read the Red Hulk comics, so I don't know how true to the story they held. But from my point of view, they did a very good job. Actually, I know I should be stopping, but I can't because I see stuff and I go, "Ooh, this would be a little bit cooler." So there would be a core shadow. If the light is hitting both sides, there's going to be this core shadow like right there toward the middle, and I just think it should be in there. So I'm putting it in there because I think it should be. And I think it helps with the story of the illustration, having that core shadow right down the middle kind of emphasizes that the lighting. Okay, now I'm going to leave it alone. I say that as I reach back. I'm going to leave it alone now. All right. Again, thanks everybody for stopping by. That's about a 2 hour session, an hour per sketch card. I'm happy with them. I'll put those up for sale. It doesn't seem to be anybody on at the moment as I'm finishing up. But typically, what I do is I'll offer either one of these for $1. If anybody has stayed with me on this, then you have the opportunity to get either one of these for $1. If you're still there, if you're not there, that's cool. I thank you again for stopping by. But if you do want one of these for $1, type it in the chat, and I'll as I bump the camera all over the place. And if not, if there's no takers currently, then I'm going to go ahead and call that a day. Thanks for hanging out. Next time, I'll do the Captain Americas, Sam Wilson Captain Americas. I got two of those to do, so I will do those next time. Probably going to do a lot more line work on both of those just because of the detail in them. So thanks a lot. I appreciate the help. I appreciate the support. And you all take care. Peace out. Brad Scott out.